Also, I need a screen share so I can actually see what's going on.
Looks like we're... Good.
And we are back, everybody! So, hello again! We are now finally showcasing all of you the best Touhou game ever made, Touhou 11 Subterranean Animism. And we're gonna be seeing the extra stage. I believe this is the first extra stage we're gonna show you people in Shmuptember, actually. Pretty hyped for that.
Yeah.
Pretty hyped.
Hello everybody, I'm Zemoo, and as stated, we're doing the extra stage. So most people who are like new to Touhou are like on the touristy side of, oh, I'll play a Touhou game every once in a while. They don't touch the extra, they just like play the main game and then they move on. And I would recommend you play the extra, because it is sort of the most unique Danmaku, and it's sort of what makes Touhou Touhou, in my opinion. The difficulty is somewhere between normal and hard, and we are going to be doing, there's two shot types. We're going to use Zemoo and the Yukari partner. Yukari has the best support skill. We can warp the screen like Pac-Man or Asteroids, but only horizontally, and the option is one of the higher damage. Usually Marissa's the high damage, but in this game, Zemoo A is pretty good.
Yeah, pretty much.
With that being said, let's get started. Get the timers going.
I had hope when you were highlighting over Zemoo C for a second.
Zemoo C is
Zemoo C is the pony shot for sure.
Yeah, the main goal we're trying to do right now is get full power by the boss. If you go right up to this guy, it spawns its bullets outside of you. It's a neat little strat. So I'm trying to get all the power. If you look at the bottom left of the screen, there's a meter for grazing. If I graze enough in a small enough amount of time, I become the point of collection, and all the items on screen just magnetate to me. Here, if you just stay still, these bullets are orderly. They're like aimed based on your position, but not directly at you. So like, new players will fly around trying to dodge everything, but if you just stay still, it's way easier. Yeah.
The thing about extra stages in Touhou is like they tend to be a lot of like routing.
Yeah.
Like they're longer, but they are also a test of like, you know, you routing the game and like optimizing stuff pretty much.
I'm actually gonna slow down my shooting to graze more. But yeah, the extra stages are sort of the puzzly version of shmups, where it's like it's total BS till you learn the trick, and then it's like kind of easy.
Yeah, like a lot of the extra stages in Touhou tend to be like a nightmare until you understand how it works, and then it's like,
yeah,
it's fine.
Right, so
I mean, you still have these moments, of course, where it's still like gonna kick you, but like overall, you know.
Yeah, so this one has a safe spot in the bottom middle. There's like one spot right there. We have to dodge a wave while being in the safe spot. It's like really easy once you figure out, oh, just get back to the safe spot.
Yeah.
This is just RNG, but there's a couple waves at a time, so you get to do some reading, looking ahead. Right, this cell card has a safe spot. I don't use it because it's hard to get in and out of it, and even if you get in it, these bullets are aimed at you, and when they hit the wall, they explode into random. And I hate getting into the safe spot, and then they're just like randomly raining on me, and I have to move around in it, and just dodge it normally.
Yeah, the safe spot, if you're misaligned, it can actually backfire, kinda.
Yeah. And here's where we warp the screen. This is the only time I'm gonna plan on doing this in the extra stage. It's really helpful in the main game, where like any aim section, you can just kind of cheese it by warping the screen. Oh, that was...
I mean, that can happen.
I'm gonna reset. I have a little bit of mulligan time built into my estimate. On that section, you're supposed to kill all those enemies as they come in, and then it's just like pretty easy. It's like RNG where they spawn. You know they spawn on the right, the middle, and the left. In middle, right, then left. But it's sort of RNG where. I just didn't do a good job of killing the enemies, and they kind of built up. Yeah. So
Yeah, these fairies, like, they can get kind of spooked, the fairies, after the mid-boss for sure. They can, like, they can catch you off guard like 100%, so you always gotta be wary of, like, what could happen potentially.
exactly. And everything in the extra stage is, like I say, it's like PS if you don't know it, but if you mess it up, even if you know it, like, it can still just, like, sneak up on you and murder you.
Oh, yeah. Like, as we said, like, extra is the stage where you gotta have a route and pretty much, like, really learn everything, but that doesn't mean you don't need to execute it well as well.
Yeah.
And the shot is also gonna, the boss is also gonna reflect that a lot as well. But we'll get back to that once we get to it. First, we have a Senai to go through.
Yes. This is the famous Sunai line, common sense or whatever.
There is no common sense in Gensokyo, as she says. I mean, that is true. We really must have, like, forgotten all our common sense to grind these games. You know? I mean, I know I forgot mine a long time ago.
Yeah. Though I will say, extra no miss no bombs are, like, way easier to grind because it's just such a shorter, like, it's so much shorter than the main game.
Oh yeah.
So it's, like, nice in that regard.
Yeah, like, when it comes to the usual, like, difficulty of an extra stage in Touhou, it's around mid to late game of, like, the game in hard mode difficulty. And they're much shorter than main game. It's like, what, 15? Max of 25 minutes for, like, an extra stage run? Max. Maybe the low case longer, but, you know, overall it's probably gonna be that. And, that just makes them way less tedious than main game grinds.
So unless you're doing pacifist, in which case it still takes forever.
If you do passive, there is something wrong with you.
Well, that's one of my plans next, is to pacifist this.
Wait, like, no miss, no bomb?
No miss. Well, no bomb pacifist, I guess. Which is
Oh,
kind of
okay, I
implied,
thought you
but-
meant no miss. That's why I was like, something must be wrong with you. Okay. In that case, okay.
Well, I think I could do no miss, no bomb pacifist. Like, nothing in
You
this
really
is...
want to, though?
There's
You know,
not like...
sometimes it's not about a question of whether you can, it's about a question of whether you should.
Yes. But one thing I will say is, so this extra is like one of the hardest extras that I've played, like the first time for my like first 1cc, but it also was the first one I no miss, no bombed. And it's because basically everything in this is the, you know, learn it and it's easy strat thing. So
Yeah, like,
it's-
the... Koshi herself doesn't really have much, like, threatening stuff once you reach her, right? It's so long you execute your plans and routes well, and you don't like potato on some patterns, you should generally be fine.
yeah, like most other extra stages have like a final that's like QED where it's just really hard, but this doesn't really have that.
You can even just time it out.
Right, so this is Koichi. This first spell card has a safe spot, but it's not where you think. It's right in front of her. Then it goes to another safe spot, bottom middle, and it loops in a weird spot. There's also another safe spot slightly to the left. I find that better because I can stay focused and deal more damage. Like, shotgun damage doesn't really matter if you have to unfocus. It's like better to just stay at the bottom. And so Koichi's theme is sort of like psychological mind-bogglingness. That's a word.
Well, now it
I'll
is.
just make that up. So for this one, I'm staying a certain distance from her, and that will make it the tap dodging easier. So this is Damaku Paranoia, and just like the name suggests, the difficulty is mostly paranoia. You just tap dodge a little bit, and it's very easy. And I want to be, I messed it up, but if you're at the right distance from her, you can tap dodge to dodge the bullets at the same time when she's not shooting, and it makes it so you like can just move once every 2 waves. And I really like that spell as just like an intro to tap dodging, because there's nothing else you can do except tap dodge that. If you fly far, you'll just get hit by the kunai and die.
You got a micro on that for sure.
Exactly. Alright, this is Release of the Kid, I believe. These bullets...
Fetish.
Yeah. These bullets are curving downward, and I want to dodge through them diagonally through the big gaps, it's always pushing me down, so I will have to move up eventually, but you have way more time to like shop for a big gap than you think you do. So yeah, that's just like sort of a new player trap, is you think like, oh, I just gotta go now, but like you can just wait.
Yeah, and also the wave just repeats, like you pretty much saw there. Zemoo was essentially dodging each wave the same way, pretty much.
Yeah.
And the same is gonna apply here.
Yes, this is
Pretty much
Suppression Super Ego, the opposite. When you first play this, one of these two is going to be way harder than the other, and I don't think it's like everyone agrees on one. I think it's just like the person, just like.
From my experience, when you're new to shmups in general, like bullets coming from behind are very awkward to read.
Yeah. But I think
I guess
I was fine with this one, but struggled with the other one.
that's unusual. Super player in the making.
Maybe, but I can't. I kind of gave up on Touhou 14 because I just don't want to do Seija. So maybe
Little K.
maybe I'm just pretending I'm good at dodging from behind. So this is Yokai Polygraph. This is one of my favorite spell cards in the whole series. These lasers are spawning bullets on the distance from the center that you are. So if I were to touch a laser, it would spawn a bullet directly on top of me. But that also just means I get to control where all the bullets spawn. So I am making big jumps when the lasers are orthogonal. It's usually the easiest to make a big gap to dodge through. And it's like really easy once you learn how to do it. But it's like always fun because you're just constantly required to move and evaluate your position and like understand your radial distance from the center. It's just like not a thing that happens and is important in most shmups, and it's like cool that he made that a thing in this, and it functions as Danmaku.
Or you can just meme and abuse the Rainbow gapping mechanic and never spin that spell. That's the meme strats.
Alright, so this is Rorschach. This is like the toughest dodging in the whole run.
Yeah, it's very tight. It gets very, very tight.
Yeah, so these waves start like one at a time, but then they start overlapping. They don't have enough reset time, so we're just gonna go with it.
Yeah, unfortunate. Could have went to the right there.
Yeah, like there's always a gap, but sometimes you just have to be proactive.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just don't see it. It's fine, we'll just get a no bomb clear.
Get a
And
one miss.
if I somehow don't clear, I have the practice patch to just hack to that spot again. So Embers of Love, she kind of follows you, so you can like subconsciously control her movement by, so like if you're slightly to the left of her, she's more likely to go left, and same with right.
Yeah, SA has movement manipulation, which is the thing we abuse in Touhou. Some games do, some games don't have it, but Touhou 11 does, which is very useful to like route some stuff or help manipulate the boss throughout a pattern.
Yeah, so I just like have a route that usually works if I execute it well. And these nons are kind of just Danmaku paranoids, but more interesting to look at. I don't
Yeah.
I don't know.
Genetics, that's the big routing spell of this stage, actually.
So this one is really cool. She's gonna spawn these like double helixes in her wake, and then there's this sound effect that's really hard to hear because the bullets are spawning, and that's when you redirect her by just going somewhere and then she lunges at you. She tends to bounce around the screen sort of like a pool ball, and you can just control the whole flow of the spell by routing her at the certain times she lunges.
Yeah, so it's a mix of like that predetermined movements and you just routing her when she's aiming at your face pretty much.
And
that's the timeout.
And I used to have a strat for looping it indefinitely, but I found a quick kill strat, and it's kind of just better.
Probably better to, yeah. So now the big thing about Touhou extra bosses is they always have the timeout. So a timeout is a spell in Touhou that you're forced to end the timer off for it to end. You cannot shoot down the boss, you gotta wait it out. And it's a tradition that every extra stage boss in like modern Touhou games will have a big, lengthy, flashy-looking timeout spell.
Yes. So this one has two, because Floss, Speed of a Hated Person, and
True.
Yokai Polygraph.
Yeah, This is the big flashy one.
Yeah, this is the hardest phase of this, and probably your hardest like first playthrough spell. Like, you're just always gonna die to this or bomb it.
These are the route or die spells.
Yeah. And
Like definitely.
interestingly enough, Rorschach in Danmaku is coded as a timeout spell, so if you time it out, you get the spell bonus if you didn't die. It's just
Wait, really?
It's just Zun coding. He just forgot to change it at some point.
God, imagine Rorschach as a timeout. Yikes.
But anyway, so this one, there's 4 different phases and it's based on damage. If you don't shoot, it will stay in whatever phase it is forever. And usually the final spell has this, but there's like usually a rage phase where it's like if you get to the last 30 seconds, it just goes crazy so you can't cheese it. But Zun didn't do that for this because for whatever reason, like stage 4 isn't that much harder than 1, and like didn't.
Probably the
seem
same reason
necessary.
that Rorschach is coded as a timeout, aka we don't know.
Well, Zun's usually good about it, but yeah.
Newer games, timeouts being cheesed.
So yeah, I'm just looking for the gaps. Like I know, blue just went by, red will be the safe spot next. I kind of just keep it. Like sometimes I say it out loud, sometimes I keep track in my head.
Yeah, and just like that, one is no bomb.
Yep, 1 miss.
That was a very silly death, but these happens like when you grind or when you just go for like no miss. You know, that's just part of the game. Very clean run though. You can be proud of yourself, buddy.
Yeah, I'm very happy with that. I ran this last at like Shmup Slam 4, and that one went way worse. So super happy about a 1 miss.
I mean, that's because I'm here. That's why it went better.
Yeah.
But yeah, you played pretty well. That was a very good showcase of SA Extra for sure.
Yes. Everyone play the extra stages. They're in my opinion way cooler than the main games. Most of them.
Extra are super fun. Even as like an experienced player, I still like to just vibe in extras every once in a while. Like they're chill.
Yeah. And,
Well, except lol caves.
yeah. Usually like starting off, it's like, oh, this is pain because I can't do anything, but then you learn stuff, and that's the fun part of games. It's like, oh, I can do it, and I couldn't before.
Yeah. And since they're based like they have the heavy learning curve, once you've actually learned the stage, you can go back and just chill because you know how you do it, and then you can really go back and be like, ha! Now I know how to do this. It's just a lot of fun, honestly. I would recommend you guys play Extra if you've never done that. Though they will require some learning, of course, to get into, but it's worth it.
Definitely worth it. Right. I don't have much else to say. Do you?
I mean, I think that was a pretty good showcase, so maybe just skip the ending dialogue and then save your replay.
Alright.
Right, because one important thing for you people playing modern Touhou game, when you beat the extra stage, the game doesn't always ask you to save a replay by default. Sometimes the game will default to continue. If you press continue, the game will go back to the title screen and will completely ignore your replay. You gotta go out of your way to save your replay. Keep that in mind, people, please.
And for some more Zune coding, some of the time if I what are those numbers? I don't know. If I continue, it'll crash. I have to return to title for some reason. Zune coding.
Another great thing about Zune coding, in Touhou 11 you got a 1cc, so you gotta get a 1cc in at least normal mode to unlock the extra stage. However, because Zune is once again very good at making video games, if you already have extra stage unlocked, and then you get a 1cc on easy mode, the game is going to relock the extra stage. And you got a 1cc on anything higher than easy mode again to re-unlock it. That's great. That's just great code in there. That's just SA things, yeah. You can relock the extra stage in SA. At least that's what people always told me.
I haven't played easy mode since like first practicing EOSD or something. So I
But
wouldn't
in any
know.
case, if we're about done, I think we're ready to move on with like the next one, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so thank you guys for watching. Go follow the goat Zemoo. You know, if you want to give a shout out and send your Twitter in chat and like, or maybe your, Twitch
Sure.
or anything you wish. Really?
I'm Zemoo Games on Twitch, Zemoo on YouTube. I'll type in the chat so we can
Also,
move
Zemoo
on.
Rhythm Game, which I'm looking forward to.
Oh yeah, that's my other YouTube channel, Zemoo Rhythm
Yeah,
Games.
let's go.
All
So
right.
yeah, in any case, we're about ready to move on. Next up is DDC. However, you people are going to be seeing DDC. Lunatic Marisa be scoring, which is going to be pretty fun. That's going to be the first real score on of Shmuptember Touhou block, so stay tuned for that.